Now at 5, enforcing the Fairness Act, the Attorney General's plan for Indiana's new immigration law and how it could impact you.
I'm terrified, but I'm also so grateful she's okay.
A mother's fears after a scary night. The search for the man who she says broke into her home and then tried to abduct her daughter.
And we've got a relatively quiet end to the week. We do have mild temperatures and a very warm Friday ahead, but big changes are coming for the weekend.
Also, a ceasefire is now in effect between Israel and Lebanon.
How this 10-day truce could help the peace talks between the U.S. and Iran.
Indiana's Attorney General is taking his message about the state's new immigration law directly to the job site.
Todd Rokita met with the Central Midwest Carpenters Union today, all as a part of what he calls a statewide push to prepare workers and employees for enforcement of what's called the new Fairness Act. Our State House reporter Emily Longnecker covered the legislation this year and joins us live now with some context and impact of what all this means. Emily.
Yeah, hi, ladies. The Fairness Act is set to go into effect July 1st, and it creates stronger civil penalties for businesses here in Indiana who knowingly hire workers here who are undocumented. The Attorney General says his office is already gearing up to investigate violations. He says they are already receiving tips about businesses suspected of employing people not here legally. He talked about the Fairness Act against the backdrop of the new Signia Hotel being built here in downtown Indy. The AG toured this site this afternoon, joined by the Central Midwest Carpenters Union. Rokita praised the construction site and the workers he met, saying his office will be visiting sites like it across the state to see who's being hired and if employers are following the new law. The Fairness Act prohibits employers from knowingly or intentionally hiring undocumented workers. It also gives the AG the authority to investigate and sue employers who do. The Fairness Act also establishes civil penalties for employers found to be hiring undocumented workers. Those penalties can go up with each offense. Employers can face fines up to $10,000 and also face temporary or permanent shutdowns, depending on the number of violations.
I cannot put people behind bars. I can make referrals to those that can. But they've given me significant fining authority. So we're going to be able to hurt people, or the employers, where it hurts most, and that's in their pocketbooks.
Support from organized labor has been mixed, with some arguing that this new law could worsen the labor shortage, slowing down projects and increasing costs. Now, the Carpenters Union supports it, saying that this levels the playing field among contractors and it prevents employers, they say, from hiring undocumented workers at lower wages. Coming up tonight at 6, we'll hear from the union about why they think the law not only helps contractors, but also helps workers they say are being exploited. And Felicia?
Emily, thank you. We'll check back in. And tonight, a mother says she is shaken and searching for the man who broke through her apartment window overnight. She says that man then tried to strangle and abduct her daughter.
This is really scary. It happened reportedly just after midnight at the Lodge Apartments. Those apartments are located near 96th Street and College. Ashton Hackman talked with the mom today, who says that was quite the frightening wake up.
And she tells me she's just glad her daughter is okay. Obviously, they are both shaken after what happened. She tells me she's just focused now on finding the person responsible.
Moving day came suddenly for Sarah Elsie and her daughter.
Yeah, we're getting out of here. I don't want to stay here another night. We don't want to stay where my daughter was attacked.
Reportedly attacked in the middle of the night. Elsie said her daughter, Sophia, woke her up in a panic. She says someone opened the window, strangled her, and tried to pull her out.
When I went into her bedroom, her window was open, the blinds were pinned up by like a hair tie, and her screen was gone. I looked out the window, and there's a chair where it looked like somebody had climbed up on and climbed into a window.
A detective returned to the apartment later that afternoon, searching for evidence. Elsie said the window doesn't lock. She says she's now focused on finding peace somewhere else.
We want to put this behind us for sure, but it will definitely take some time for Sophia to heal and move on from it.
In Indianapolis, Ashton Hackman, 13 News.
Metro Police confirmed that they are investigating this break-in and some other suspicious person reports in that area. Right now, Elsley said the only description of the man her daughter gave was that he was wearing a dark ski mask and he had dark gloves.
Ooh, that is scary. Also, tomorrow morning, a man accused of shooting at Metro Police officers is expected to make his initial court appearance. He faces charges of battery by means of a deadly weapon. Police say Joel Rector shot at them with an air rifle from the window of a house that was across the street from a shooting scene they were responding to on the south side. We have video here, and it shows officers arriving at the house a little more than a week ago. At least one officer shot at the suspect, who ended up in the hospital in critical condition. It's not clear if he was shot by the officer or himself. No officers were hurt. The officer involved is on administrative leave.
Tonight, we're learning the name of a man who was killed in a shooting on the northeast side of Indianapolis. The Marion County coroner now confirming it was 22-year-old Robert Galladay who died in the shooting near East 46th Street and North Arlington Ave. Officers found the victim in critical condition around 7:30 Wednesday night, but he later died. Police have not shared any information about a possible suspect in the case. Also, today marks 2 years since the death of a Hendricks County Sheriff's deputy. Deputy Fred Fissler was trying to rescue a man after a crash when live wires burned both of them, killing Fissler. He's survived by a wife and 2 young children. The Hendricks County Sheriff's Office is remembering him today, writing, "Fred served with quiet strength, commitment, and a deep love for his family and others. That example doesn't fade with time. It stays with us and provides us with purpose."
Here's a look outside, because we are seeing some very warm temperatures, some sunny skies, and it is feeling more like summer than it is spring.
It really is.
Yeah, Rob is in for Angela tonight and tracking what the weekend is going to look like.
Yeah, you and I are big warm weather fans.
Yes.
We love the warm temperatures.
Sign me up.
The temperatures tomorrow are going to feel like midsummer. They're going to be mid-80s is what we're looking at. But that's going to be the warmest of the entire forecast, because after that, a bit cooler for the weekend. So let me get you set up as we head into the weekend. Looking at the Friday forecast, we're currently sitting at 74. That is still about 10 degrees above the average for this time of year. The average high is 64 for this day. So we have certainly been seeing warmer than average temperatures. Do have a couple of showers and storms that have been popping up, some up to the north, but most of these are moving east and moving out of the area. Some of our counties up here that we do want to keep an eye on. However, I did notice that one quick little shower is starting to pop up right along Interstate 70. I'll keep an eye on it. We still have some heating of the day. We still have warm temperatures and it's somewhat humid. We could watch to see if a couple of showers and storms are developing, but overall it is a quieter forecast that we're expecting through tonight, with the severe weather chance mainly to our south and west, so we're looking okay for now. And the next few hours we're looking at temperatures coming out of the 70s, dropping into the 60s until after midnight, which is when we'll head into the 50s during the overnight. Mid 50s for most of you, although there's going to be some variation in that depending on how far to the north you are. Tomorrow, I mentioned how warm it's going to be. How about low to mid 80s for our daytime highs? Partly cloudy skies. We do have rain in the forecast for the weekend. I'll show you the timing of that. Shouldn't impact much of your weekend, but if you have plans early Saturday, you're going to want to stay tuned.
A 10-day ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon now in effect tonight. It started just minutes ago.
And there is hope it could lead to another set of peace talks between the U.S. and Iran. Monica Alba reports from Washington, D.C.
President Trump says peace talks with Iran are going well.
It's looking very good that we're going to make a deal with Iran, and it's going to be a good deal. It's going to be a deal with no nuclear weapons.
But in case a deal can't be made, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the U.S. military is locked and loaded, warning Iran to choose wisely.
If Iran chooses poorly, then they will have a blockade and bombs dropping on infrastructure, power, and energy.
U.S. warships patrol the ports of Iran, the 4th day of the U.S. blockade, keeping the country's economic lifeline, oil, stuck on ships.
Your energy is not moving and will not move, and we can do this all day. But it's not destroyed yet.
But there is movement in another tentacle of the war. President Trump says Israel and Lebanon have agreed to a 10-day ceasefire beginning today. Israel has been bombing Hezbollah, the Iran-funded militia, in southern Lebanon for weeks. Iran had said Lebanon must be included in any ceasefire. Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill,
the yeas are 213. The nays are 214.
The Republican-controlled House voted down a measure ordering Trump to end the war by one vote, largely along party lines. The vote comes just a day after the Senate rejected a similar measure. Republicans are standing behind the president, but if the conflict goes longer than 60 days, some lawmakers say they will rethink their vote on a war powers resolution.
I think at that point we would need to vote to authorize. So let's hope we get to this and this conflict is over. I think we need an exit strategy.
President Trump is also floating a potential White House meeting between Israel and Lebanon. He says he's invited the Israeli Prime Minister and Lebanese President to have meaningful talks to broker peace. Monica Alba, NBC News, the White House.
There are concerns about possible flight cancellations if ships are not allowed through the Strait of Hormuz soon. The head of the International Energy Agency is warning Europe has, quote, maybe 6 weeks left of jet fuel. And he says if ships do not get through soon, parts of the Americas could be impacted too. More than 110 oil-laden tankers and more than 15 carriers with liquefied natural gas are waiting to get through the strait. If you build it, they will come. At least that's the hope for the possibility of a new Bears stadium in Indiana.
We had the discussion about that at the State House today surrounding the money you'd have to pay to get there on the Indiana Toll Road. That's ahead as our coverage continues at 5:30. But first here at 5.
It means a lot to me to just come here and have everybody.
Saving a senior center.
The help needed in Mooresville. Plus, recovering a piece of history.
What a nearly 100-year-old recording of Amelia Earhart is revealing about her solo trip across the Atlantic.